Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Friday's market wrap up here. TOPGUN Options, Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz. And man, what a great start to the year. The S&P, kind of flat, but men lie, trades don't. The S&P 500's up 1.45%. The NASDAQ's flat to negative. The Dow is essentially flat. Look at our model portfolio. We're up 10% in about 2 trading weeks, ladies and gentlemen. One of our big rippers, Raytheon. Look at Raytheon, folks, to the moon and beyond. I put on a new bullish on Raytheon trade about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, ladies and gentlemen. It is up. If Cloudflare, there we go. Look at this, Raytheon, 50% in about a week and a half, folks. About $1,200 profit. You did not miss out on Raytheon. Right here, folks. This is when I said you should have bought Raytheon, folks. Why? October 8th, sadly, 2023. After Israel was invaded by Hamas and the world completely changed, look at Raytheon's stock. The stock itself is up 190%. Now, many of our members with synthetic, that's the stock. If you did synthetic stock on Raytheon back here, you're up over 1,000% in that investment, folks. And if you're sitting here going, wow, Wiz, look at that. That is a hockey stick. Did I miss it? No. Get long-term bullish on Raytheon right now. As I discussed when I put this trade on last week, a week and a half ago, the president wants a 50% increase in the defense budget. He wants $1.5 trillion next year. That's obscene. Raytheon and these, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, these defense contractors don't have the capacity right now. They are getting tons of orders. That's a good thing. You have got to be long-term bullish on Raytheon. Join TOPGUN Options, and I'll show you how to do a long-term bullish synthetic stock position on Raytheon. Another great performer. And there's something going on with Cloudflare, folks. Maybe it's down here in the Southeast. Twitter's been sketchy. E-Trade's been sketchy. A lot of websites. The TOPGUN Options website's been sketchy this morning. So maybe it's just the Southeast United States. But I'll ignore it as it's taken forever for these charts to load here. Something else I wanted to cover. Don't talk like this, President Trump, if you don't back it up. Trump told Iranian protesters, days ago, towards the beginning of the week, help is on the way. Then what happened? Nothing. The president said, well, they stopped killing protesters and they're not going to kill anybody they have in custody. You believe that, Mr. President? So with military action on hold, the U.S. puts new sanctions on. How can there be new sanctions on Iran? I never understood this, whether it was Biden or Trump, like we're putting more sanctions on. It doesn't work, man. Like, I don't get it. What am I getting at, folks, is don't talk like this, Mr. President. When you throw out red lines and then you don't meet them, you look like an idiot. And that's not a good thing to our potential enemies, right? And I get it. I don't want to be involved in regime change. Iran's on the other side of the planet, blah, blah, blah. But unlike Afghanistan, unlike Iraq, Iran actually has killed Americans and has killed over 600 Marines, soldiers, and sailors in Iraq. Iranian forces, Iranian IEDs killed U.S. forces. So we have a predicate, if we needed to strike Iran, but don't talk tough and then not back it up, Mr. President. But good headline. Trump wants to run the economy hot. There's a good chance he'll succeed. So we have a bullish on America trade out a year into the future. We got a bullish on America trade 3 years out in the future. We have one 5 years out into the future on the S&P 500, ladies and gentlemen. This might be bad. It might reignite inflation. We might see the jobs market really soften, especially due to AI. But the president, with all the tools in his toolbox and appointing basically a sycophant as the Fed chief who's going to do whatever he wants to do, man, it's going to rip hot. So get ready to take advantage of that. He needs to focus on this, though, folks. And pivot on affordability, Trump unveils barrage of proposals to address cost. Yeah, you need to do that, man, because Venezuela, Iran, dealing with China and tariffs and trade, all that stuff's good. What have you done for me lately? What are you doing at home? He really needs to focus on that. We talked about Halliburton and Schlumberger and getting potentially bullish on those names. Look at this. Halliburton and his rivals can't wait to get back into Venezuela. Now, this isn't a, hey, I'm going to make money on this trade next week. Long-term bullish years out into the future on these names, I think would be a very solid bet there. Let's see if my quotes have come back up on here. Yeah, finally. Don't forget MindMed. Year to date, this position's up 190%, about $1,500. MindMed changed their ticker symbol, right? MNMD. It's no longer NMND. So MindMed is now Definium Therapeutics, just like Cybin changed its name to Helios, right? It's Heal Us. That's it looks like Heal Us, but it's Heal Us. That's how they say to pronounce it. So, you know, some of these psychedelic names changing their names. 2026 is going to be an incredibly big year for the psychedelic space. You have got to be in these publicly traded name, ladies and gentlemen, because my opinion, we're going to see some psilocybin, some LSD, Comp 360, MM 120, potentially phase 3 complete this year, and maybe even FDA approval, right? That would be huge. And those names are going to rip. Do not miss out on being bullish in the publicly traded psychedelic names. You're going to wake up one day and see, hey, breaking news, Definium's up 500% on X, Y, and Z, or up 500% on Pfizer, Moderna, Eli Lilly, Janssen, buying these publicly traded psychedelic companies because they can't sit there and watch these little publicly traded psychedelic companies cure generalized anxiety disorder, right? Big Pharma needs customers. They're going to scoop these names up. That's that's almost a sure thing, right? We saw AbbVie buy a Gilgamesh line of psychedelic drug after a phase 1, phase 2 trial, bought it for like $1 billion. Didn't buy Gilgamesh, the entire company, just that one potential product line, potentially $1 billion. That's why many of our members at TOPGUN Options are invested in Demerex, private company right now, but we're using noribogaine to potentially help cure. I didn't say treat, I said cure AUD, alcohol use disorder. I think that would just be absolutely incredible. Hey, make sure, and you can, let's see, Demerex, Dr. Mash. Let's see. You can watch the podcast I did with Dr. Mash from Demerex, and there it is, Demerex Investment Brief with Dr. Deborah Mash about transforming addiction therapeutics using psychedelic-assisted therapy. This is going to be huge. First of all, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. There's a great Dr. Mash podcast I did on the No Fallen Heroes channel with Dr. Mash as well about the science behind ibogaine. So make sure you subscribe to TOPGUN Options. Get over to No Fallen Heroes as well. You can watch that Dr. Mash podcast on ibogaine. You can make sure you check out our most recent one that just dropped yesterday, Combat Veteran Wives. Tommy is a Marine combat veteran wife. Really incredible healing. And you can obviously listen to all of our podcasts on Apple Podcasts. That's the Max Afterburner podcast, and also Spotify as well. So folks, get ready. This week, we also put on a bearish trade, a trade that acts like a hedge on the S&P 500. You can see as we're getting these bounces off the 20 and 50-day moving averages are getting tighter and tighter. I think we're going to see a lot of volatility. The financial earnings are behind us, and it's on the tech. And if tech underwhelms in the least bit, we're going to implode. However, if tech blows the covers off the door and everything's great with AI, look out. We're gonna rip higher. Either way, we're going to potentially profit here at TOPGUN Options. Okay, so going to have a great ceremony this weekend up at Sacred Warrior Fellowship with 6 veterans, first responders, and family members sitting with the Sacred Sacrament at Sacred Warrior Fellowship. So please send us a little love this weekend. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste and Basi. Whiz out.